What up, Rick?
Hello.
There you go. What up, baby?
You hear me?
Yeah.
Man, blessings.
Can you hear me?
Blessings. We ready to rock.
Yeah. You can hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you
can
well.
hear you. Okay,
Right,
man.
cool.
Man, everybody, welcome to the support report. This your boy KCG, and you know what I'm saying, we are here with a very special installment of the support report. Man, this is an honor. I always like to let the artists, you know what I'm saying, whoever the business person is that is, hear my guests introduce themselves. Man, please bless the crowd with, you know what I'm saying, your essence, my brother, please.
The original rap criminal. We don't leave home without it. Sharpshooters in the building. We in Detroit right now making it happen at a secret location where we play all our music. Can't walk to the corner without that junk. But we out here representing the people, man, and we still, we on point, man. K Solo, the new album is coming. We just dropped with Cannabis. Cannabis album's out right now. Check it out. I'm on a met up him. Pretty rusty, but yo, that's my boy. I had to represent him. I was pretty rusty, but I had to represent because Cannabis is in my family. Shout out to Cassidy too. I'm gonna have them. They're gonna be working on an album called The Return of the Cyborgs real soon. And yeah, man, we out here. And listen out for Redman's Muddy Waters too. That'll be out this summer too. Yeah, we coming, man. Fully loaded, fully locked and loaded. Road Warriors Records. The millennials are coming. The young ones. We the older crew. We're from Waste Management. We take the trash out daily, and we out here still putting it down. You know what I'm saying? We out here holding it down, man.
Big blessings.
Thanks for having me, Rick.
Oh man, it is my honor and pleasure. We finna get into it, you know what I'm saying? Cause man, bro, I definitely want to get, some of my man. I'm fanning out right now, cause you know what I'm saying? Like I grew up listening to your music, you know what I'm saying, being really inspired by you, and you know what I'm saying, the messages that you was putting out there. And
thank you.
I just want to thank you for the art, bro. You know what I'm saying? Just to start this off, because that's so important to me. You know what I'm saying? Giving the flowers, even the respect that is due. You know what I'm saying? So before we even get into any of the business at hand, you know what I'm saying, I just want to put that out there that you're a real OG in this game. A lot of people may not know who you are, but they should know who you are. And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they'll get it. They don't get it. I don't really put a lot of stuff out, but when I put it out as quality, it's what it is, and I don't talk unless I have something to say. And yeah, thank you so much, Rick, for the support, man.
It's my honor, bro. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so bam. Let's start it out. You know what I'm saying? Let's start at the beginning. You know what I'm saying? It's April 17th. You know what I'm saying? 1968.
Yeah. I was born in Queens, New York, Jamaica Hospital. My grandmother was the nurse that brought me into the world, Ruth Naomi Yancey. My mother and my father had me. I lived on 131st Street, Ozone Park. And then at, I think it was 4 or 5, it started getting crazy. My mother moved to Suffolk County, Long Island, New York, and I was raised out there on the island. But I would go back and forth to the city, would do my rap stuff and boxing. I was boxing a lot then. I started a fight career in the beginning, and then I got in trouble because somebody called me the N-word. And I wanted to say, growing up in my community, that was a very powerful word, and you wasn't allowed to use it, but now it doesn't have any power because I see all colored niggers. To me, nigger is it's a word that has too much power. And if you're ignorant and you don't know where you're from and you don't know where you're going, back in the days, I didn't realize this because I'm a history guy, did some research on the word nigger, and I come to find out back in New York when there was the gangs of New York, they were calling Irish, they were calling Irish the potato niggas. They were calling Indians the red niggas. They were calling the Chinese the yellow niggas. So it had nothing to do with a color or a culture. It had to do with your status in America. If you didn't have money and you were an aristocrat, you were considered a nigger in American standards. So it didn't have, when I figured it didn't have nothing to do with even though they put it on black culture, and it tries to stick, it really doesn't have anything to do with culture. It has to do with your status in the world and what you don't know and how you live. That makes anybody that word. It doesn't matter what color you are. There's the color doesn't have nothing to do with it. And
And
then
you know what? You just really like opened up a whole lot of doors right there for conversation, because like a lot of people don't understand historical value, you know what I'm saying, and how to dig into the history of things and really understand where things come from and how and then a lot of the information was hidden for so long, and that's a whole nother conversation, you know what I'm saying? But
yeah, it's a whole nother conversation, exactly.
Being able to, you know, see in foresight about, you know, all those things and matter, and now knowing what you know, it gives you a different vision, a different perspective. So that's, you know, dope that you know, brought that to the table.
And then not realizing, and then I tell my kids that all the time. I always like, read so you understand what happened and you know what we are as a culture. That's why I say I don't believe in I always try to figure out the root of the problem, and I find myself in the same situation that all of us are in because we're all living in Black America. I don't care if you're in Chicago, Baltimore, Maryland, Detroit, it's the same everywhere. It's a disenfranchised people that are fighting for resources they don't have. This new corona scenario, should we take the vaccine, should we not take it? All of these scenarios are being plagued by everybody at the same time. And it's just like anything else in Black America. We all, whether it's going on in Chicago, it's going on in Detroit. If it's going on in Detroit, it's going on in Baltimore. If it's going on in Baltimore, it's going on in Harlem. If it's going on in Harlem, it's going on in Brooklyn. So as a whole, LA has a different way of doing hip hop, but it's hip hop at the end of the day.
Thanks.
It's our culture, and the collard greens taste the same on both coasts.
You hear me?
You know, they might have a little bit. The music might be playing different.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
It's the same.
When it's right, it's just right. You know what I'm saying? If you know what you're doing, you know what you're doing. It don't matter what side of the globe you on.
Yeah. Yep. And I want to say to Snoop, I want to congratulate Snoop for purchasing Deathrow. Hopefully that, you know, it's in great hands now.
Oh man,
he'll change a lot of people's lives with that. I want to give shout out to him and Dr. Dre and all them.
Oh man,
because those guys had it. Yeah, they had a real great situation.
We gonna get into
I'm proud of
more. We got to talk about that Deathrow East. We got to talk about that, bro. I definitely want to.
Yeah, no doubt.
Because that is so important to me. Because I always wonder what was happening. You know, who and what. And I'm not gonna get into that yet, but we're gonna get into that. No, fuck that. I'm gonna get into it because, you know what I'm saying, I might never get this chance again. I'm gonna go ahead and talk about it right now. Okay, so Bam.
Okay, Rick.
You are the only artist for Deathrow East that showed up. Mm-hmm. And it was a lot of amazing music that came out of that. What happened to that music?
Well, first when we got there, it was like the situation with EPMD was a little crazy because they were having a struggle. You know, shout out to them too, man. They were just young, figuring it out. You know, figuring it out and not being from, you know, the city. We were in Long Island. They were learning a little slower than the average. But when I got to Dr. Dre's house, and I lived with Dr. Dre for 4 years, I got a chance to see how it worked. But EPMD, I didn't really get a chance to see how it worked. With Dr. Dre, I seen how it worked because I was over Dre's shoulder and everything Dre did. And I was able to watch the pieces. And I'm pretty good at doing it now.
Man,
myself.
Hold on. How was that, bro? Yeah. I never
well, it was great. I never heard you
you talk about that, bro.
Yeah, because I don't tell his formula, but
No. I'm not saying to tell his formula. I'm just saying, like, for your experience level to be.
It was incredible. Yeah, and I got paid. And the funny thing about it, I got paid, and I figured, well, you're not gonna cut the line and just drop an album, and all these other kids are trying to come out and find their place into tomorrow. You're gonna help Dr. Dre do it. You and Dre are about the same age. Me, him, and DOC actually helped the young guys like Snoop, Corrupt, Daz. You know, we were helping them. Sam Snead came along. He was a great producer. And it was a freaking, you know, great time, just a lot of fun and a lot of soaking stuff up. And I wasn't able to come back to put EPMD back together because it's still, the franchise was still disenfranchised, you know, because when you're disenfranchised and you don't know how the pieces move, it's gonna be crazy. It's a brain fuck. So wasn't able to help him, but Redman was able to keep his feet moving, and then Redman and Wu-Tang took to another level. And that's like my little brother. You know, anything Redman does, I do. I've helped Redman a lot. Redman took a lot of the advice I gave him and was always solid. And anytime I needed him, he was there, and vice versa. So me and Redman always had a solid relationship. Me and Snoop had a solid relationship. And me and Flo-Rida had a solid relationship too. Let me tell you this. Even though Flo-Rida's pop, even though Flo-Rida's pop, me, Flo-Rida, and Flav lived as roommates in Sherman Oaks, and we became very close. Now, I don't blame Flo-Rida for getting all the money and then leaving a lot of people alone too, because that's what black folks do, right? When they get money, right? Yeah. So he's learning from what he sees his other generation do. Not mad at that. But I'm just saying, me, right? I'm a type of person that I speak on different levels. I can do different things. If you give me the opportunity, which I was the greatest life coach to these guys. When they were in the darkest moment, I was there. And I just say that to say, we're doing gold mines, we're doing diamond mines, we're putting things on NFTs now that people would have no idea we're a part of, but we're a part of it. I can only write in this environment. That's why I came here, because it's grimy like I grew up. And I have to still go to the corner with the ratchet just in case I go to the store and I have an issue, I can get out of the issue. But I do that because I live in Florida and it's very upscale where I live, and I really have an issue writing that stuff from that era in that era, so I come back to what I'm used to. That makes sense.
Understood.
Yeah, but I want to give a shout out to all my people like Phil Thorne, Green Lantern, DJ Scratch, Redman, all the people, you know, the Royal Crown, Benny Sinatra. I want to give a shout out to my man Uncle Zeke. You know, I mean, the extraordinaire A&R, Terry Mills, and my man Tommy Orlando. Like, we're doing some stuff over there. Shout out to Jason Assel. Shout out to Travis Dempsey and the full sales staff. We did some great things, and we're going to keep doing it. We got an album coming out by Madison Monroe. She's dropping. I'm dropping a double, the classic. They'll be held to pay. Young Wolf is coming. Adrian's coming. Chris is coming. Legacy's coming. Like, the millennials are coming, and the Spartan Academy's coming. I actually have best of both worlds, the young generation and the older generation. Shout out to Rob Stone, Cornerstone. Shout out to Jordan Young, Tenderbox. Yo, I brought all of these scenarios together, and we own it, and we're doing our thing. You know what I'm saying? I learned a lot from Dr. Dre, though. I gotta admit, I learned a lot from Dr. Dre, just watching and putting pieces together and letting them work, you know, to like they do, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, being at Death Row, I knew that Suge was gonna have a problem, because you're gonna have that much money. If you have enemies, give them a lot of money. Black community's not used to a lot of money. We're used to doing things with no money.
Right.
So when you give a person a lot of money, that's when the problem comes, because they're not used to it. And it's the same thing with the Hit Squad. You got all that money, it's a problem. You're not used to the money. Right. It's nobody's fault. It's just when you're not used to something, you're not going to come accustomed to it. It's not going to, and it usually messes everything up in our community. We start pointing fingers at each other, you know, because we can't take the heat. You know, it's too much money, and when one person gets most of the money, they got to be any leader, like Dr. Dre said, has to assume responsibility for if it gets fucked up. That's right. If you're a leader of the situation, if you don't take responsibility, then you didn't have your hands on the steering wheel, and you're not man enough to own up to, you know, the direction you caused the scenario to go. If you're a leader, you have to assume responsibility. Right. First, responsibility of a leader, you have to assume responsibility. Two, you have to put your generals and your admirals in position to aid and abate the scenario and the mission. If you don't do that and you take it all on yourself, you're headed down to a waterfall. And that's what happened in a lot of cases. But I'm gonna give Dr. Dre a lot of props. He knew Suge didn't have the ability to keep the sonic ear. When he was picking groups like MC Hammer and stuff, and Dre was like, oh man, I'm not picking these groups. Dre signed me, he signed Sam. He knew we were sonically correct. But not saying MC Hammer wasn't, it just wasn't our feel. And it was Suge doing things like that, and then it became, because remember, you fed his appetite when he had it, and then most of us go crazy when we get that much money. It's not his fault. You know, I love Suge too. It's just, you know, because Suge fed me too. It's just, you're not used to this, and your lifestyle's gonna change with this much money. And usually it turns up disastrous, like it did. When you're not used to that much money and you have no control, this is what happens. Dr. Dre's basically knows a little bit more about big money and how to do it. So he was more under control when it came to that. It was new to Suge. Wow. And it was just too much. It was just too much. So You know, and I want to shout out them because, like I said, I was there watching him dodge and weave and go through it. And remember, even in a negative time, he didn't choose to do anything negative. He never threw a punch. He never picked a gun up. Kids got to realize he waited it through, got a new partner, created Aftermath. I named Aftermath with the Slinger Wolf tickets. Dr. Dre was like, I'm going to name the next album Aftermath. Yeah, but, you know, I was happy I was able to, look, they paid me. He got something out of it, right? Even if it's a name, right? But at the end of the day,
iconic. Hold on, wait, bro. That was iconic right there. You just dropped a bomb on everybody right there. Like I'm sure you know talked about that before. Like you named Aftermath.
Yeah, I named Aftermath. I created Aftermath on the single called Wolf Tickets. Dr. Dre was one of Dr. Dre's favorite songs on Death Row. He made that the name of his next label. But Black Exploitation came a lot for me and Sam Snead too. So it was like, you know, it was our idea to put, you know, Pam Grier and use that. You notice when we left, it didn't happen again. That was our signature.
That's right.
You know, because that's where we grew up. In fact, that's what I knew. My dad was very good friends with Gordon Parks. I knew, you know, my Uncle Frank, his niece was dating Philip Fenty to Scream. So when we was little kids, these were our superheroes.
Oh, God.
Before they even got to the Scream, you know, we would hear about it, and as little kids, you know, and that's why they dubbed me the light-skinned Richard Roundtree, because I was no nonsense like that, and I was always in a dangerous situation, and I always thought and got out of it, because it's not our fault. Listen, I still love my community. I stand with my community. It was days me and Ice Cube were riding around in South Central, and it wasn't pleasant, but I'm always embracing my culture because I come from that, and I'm proud of it. And you know, and I love all of them. There was dudes on death row that never read the Bible before, that I would sit there and pray with and read the Bible with them, and I was still rugged and raw in the gym with them too. So, you know, you don't lose that when you from, you know, that side of the fence. You don't lose that just because I didn't participate in gang activity and stuff that demeans our culture. Didn't mean I didn't appreciate them, because I did appreciate them. Shout out to Heron, Bungery, all of them that passed. I had a great time with them when I was over there, and I learned a lot from their culture, you know, and they put me, you know, in a great situation where I could learn. I never got in any situation, you know, it was a sticky situation though, because you had three gangs there. You had the Rolling 60s, you had the Pyru, Treetop Pyru, and then you had the Rolling 60s. So can you imagine being in the midst of that when it was very new and, you know, it wasn't safe to do it? And me and Tupac were the only ones from different areas to come in there and embrace that, you know. And, you know, shout out to Tupac too. I just didn't think he should have went to the fight with Mike Tyson. You know, I grew up with Mike Tyson too. I wasn't going to go. It was just too much stuff going on at the time. And thank God Dr. Dre and Snoop didn't go neither, you know. It's a good situation that none of us went. When Dre left, I packed and left too, because I was, you know, I got in because of him. And when I seen him leave, I didn't have no reason to be there. But I learned a lot. I'm going to come up with another album. Me and Redman, we still, you know, one to twin powers. I'm just more underground. Redman's more up top. We also own a company called Madison and Noble Renewable Energy, where we're growing algae and we're turning it into products and stuff. We got a dog scenario for a dog company coming. You know, we're doing our thing, and I'm just happy to be alive and be able to keep the wheels turning and all of these things happening in our community, you know?
Real talk, bro. Like,
I'm happy that, yeah, you know what I'm saying, Rick, because we don't get a chance to always, you know, actually get things off, you know? And me and Reggie was able to get it off. We kept our feet moving, and, you know, Reggie's up top, but I'm on the bottom, and it's the same vessel. Because when I come up for air, Reggie's opening up the hatch. It's still, yeah. You know, we share a mother, man. We share our mothers. Our mothers are like twins. So, you know, Reggie's mother looks like my sister's twin. So,
bro,
me and Reggie
y'all
got a
looking
great,
like for years.
yeah, but if you seen my sister,
brothers.
yeah, but yeah, if you seen my sister and his mother, you would think they're related. And it's crazy how me and Reggie have that chemistry, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, I bust my gun for him, he busts his for me. We always gonna be brothers, man. April 17th to the casket drop.
Man, real talk. Like, okay, so now that I got that off my chest, when you first started in the game, you know what I'm saying? And okay, so let's start with your name, because your name is an acronym, actually. And a lot of people don't know that, but they need to know what the acronym stands for.
Yeah, it means Kevin self-organization left others. And it was just like, I was always on my own anyway. And the new acronym for Wolfgang is World of Love Forever, Guard Against Notorious Garbage. It's the same scenario. You gotta think about, okay, so if we can't clean it up, the kids are gonna sit in it, right? So we try to clean it up. We try to give kids the ground that, they can grow. We can plant a seed, so you can't plant a seed if there's garbage in the ground. So conceptualize, we clean up the trash. If God was to be on the planet, I always thought about this, he would be the garbage man, right? Because he'd be cleaning our asses all the time. So that's where waste management comes from. And I just want to do the right thing. I love my people. We've been in a very tumultuous struggle. A lot of us are ostracized because of things we don't know and what we were told about our history, but I've done the history check. And in 1492, Europeans were dying of the bubonic plague. They had no colleges. They didn't even wash. So where do we get off thinking we're less of another culture when it's not true? Do your history and find out where we came from and where we were then. The only thing that people don't understand about the history is when the Muslims went to Spain and created sewers in the street system and the lights in the street, the Queen of Spain said, if you go pillage and find other natives, if they're not Christian, they can be slaves. That which bounded us. There's nothing in the Bible saying we were cursed. Like, people try to use these innuendos to put chains on our brain. That's not true. It's just black culture was under a Muslim regime, because when Saladin won in Jerusalem, he lived with the Christians and the Jews for hundreds of years. And every time they went outside of that hemisphere to other places, the Christians would strike the Muslims again, like they did in Spain. If it wasn't for the Spaniards conquering Japan and finding what a fire stick was, we would have never got shot in Africa with the gun. If it wasn't for them actually owning ships and conquering Africa and seeing that we were able to, and let me just say this too, and our own culture wasn't enslaving its victims, we would have never been enslaved. So we would have never seen slavery, but our own people did it, and then they capitalized on it. And then when she figured we were under Muslim rule and not Christians, there it was. So, but if you don't read the text, you won't know any of this. Right. And if you don't understand the Bible and know that Scofield rewrote the Bible with the help from Shakespeare, you're reading a manuscript that was rewritten by man. So people take that Bible so literally, but there's many books of the Bible that are not in the Bible.
That's right.
Book of Barnabas, Book of Enoch. There's a whole bunch of books that ain't in, but if you read the original Bible, you have to go to Ethiopia and read the original Bible. And it's in Hebrew. It's in the Hebrew tongue. There's no J in the Hebrew alphabet. So
there's no J until the 17th century.
Right. So, but a lot of black people don't know that. They've been brainwashed thinking that, they know, and they've been told something so long they believe it. You know what I mean? You tell somebody something so long it becomes the truth. That's what you're dealing with. It's a psychosis in Black America, because even today, the black man and the black woman are still on different pentacles. It's like they're not on the same even playing field. Is why Black America can't rise to the occasion, because he's no longer part of it. She's running it, because they're giving her social order over the stuff, because they know she's gonna have problems. Without him, she's gonna have problems. And if you really look at society, that's what you have. You have the woman, and you have the man ostracized, fighting her, and the world too. But in my case, I have a lot of white brothers in my organization that we change the narrative for Black America. What we do is, like I always tell them, I said, well, we can make them as strong as us, because if we don't, we can make them strong as, we can make you guys strong as each other, because if we don't, your bike is going to get took tomorrow. Meaning that if we can't elevate on the same level as you, what do you think is going to happen?
It's so much that is put aside.
But my white brothers, they made sure.
Let me say this. It's so much that's put aside for every other race on the planet. Like they send money all over the globe to make sure that other people are good and living a quality of life. And here we are right here in this country, and have been here and have been brought here. And then those of us, we ain't gonna even talk about those of us that are native to here, and you know what I'm saying, They took away the
It's
land and
crazy.
all that type. We ain't even talk about that. Let's just talk about the
Yeah,
ones that brought here. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And
And that's why I say to my guys, I went to all my guys that went, we all went to school. We all made a pact, man. They got a coin right now. One of my friend Don Filogina just created a black African American coin called the loose change token and the legacy token, where it's backed by a black utility. And the white financial brokers like Sean Portier and Jason Excel put 70 million on it. You know, they're changing the narrative for black America. When I saw them do that, I was like, okay, this is a first, because I know this doesn't happen all the time. And I was happy to be a part of it. And I was happy that these people got that, because now Maya Angelou, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Marcus Garvey, now they're doing a commercial. All these people show up on the coin, and I'm like, this is what I'm talking about. And these guys also know culture. Let me just say this to you. Shout out to Uncle Zeke. He's a white rapper from the country, lives up in Maine on 19 acres. He eats more black food than me. So you got these scenarios where there's a lot of white folks like Jason Essel too, eats more West Indian food than me. My parents are Bayesian. They know the culture and they respect it. And till they're doing stuff like this. Right. You know, it's not like we're in it by ourselves now. We have white people involved too that are like, there was white folks that stood with Martin Luther King too. There was a whole bunch of Jews that got killed with the freedom fighters in Birmingham, Alabama. Nobody talks about this. That's right. You know what I'm saying? So it's not just black folks. It's all kind of people that feel the injustice and come together to change the narrative. They're all colored people. It's not just black people. It's a black agenda, but there's all kind of people putting their hands in it. So, you know, with that being said,
that's the way it has to be in order for it to work.
That's the way it is. And that's beautiful that it's like, yeah. And it's beautiful it's like that too, because they feeling the ostracized of the black America too, and they got their hands in it to fix it too. And that's good, because when I tell the white dudes this in my crew, I say, if Jeffrey Dahmer got to your mother, what happens? They said, if she lived by Muhammad Ali, what happens? They get quiet. And I go, this is the world we live in right now. So we gotta, like, we can't do this no more. We gotta go, what it means here. I told my Uncle Sam, he's a scientist. He's the one that created the red algae scenario. He said, I said, how would you live? How would you like to live next to Muhammad Ali? He was very enthused about Muhammad Ali because he knows what he represents. He's Christian, he's Muslim. Did it matter? You know what he represents. And that's what I do, is I wake people up to the reality of what it is and what it could be if we attempt to try. And I woke Redman up like that too. I always made sure when Reggie was little, younger, not little, that he paid attention to that. He was able to communicate outside of his community where people understood him on a higher level. I made sure that he woke up and wasn't sitting there with a blunt in his hand thinking he turned it into you know what I'm saying? Like, I woke him up. Same thing I did with Flo-Rida. I said, okay, you gotta have a shot and you can't drop the ball in this one shot. And all of them, Snoop too, when we had to leave Snoop at Deathrow, all have excelled to great levels of music and power. So I appreciate they were paying attention to what I was saying, because Dr. Dre would say that to me when I got in the room with Dre. You know, to be in the room with Dr. Dre, and Dr. Dre would tell you, take advantage of this opportunity, look at everything for what it is, and tomorrow it's gonna change for you. He never lied. You know, him and Tupac woke me up to a lot of stuff we would have conversation on. It's just, when you're new and black culture was new and everybody was sizing each other, it was eventually going to be a powder keg. And that's when I had to, you know, I left, because I knew at that point we done said what we had to say. Now these other elements are in here and they're gonna, you know, they're sizing each other up. So
okay, so let's talk about that. Like, you come from the era of when it wasn't no $1 million deals. It wasn't no hundreds of thousands of dollars on the table when you got your deal. It was, you know what I'm saying, when it first really kicked off, you like, you know, right around the time where people was really starting to see that rap was gonna be something. They didn't know what it was gonna be, but they knew it was gonna be something. Like, give the youth a little insight about that, bro, because I had a hard time explaining to them the levels of things we had to go through to bring it to where now it's this $1 billion industry.
Yeah, when I first came out, and I saw it was like, you gotta remember when hip hop was first born and the tapes came out, right? And this is for the young kids. Hip hop started on a cassette tape where people would hear what was going on in the party. In that time, 1978, the Jewish community that was in charge of rap music, I mean music in general, they didn't know what to do with hip hop. They thought it was a fad, it was something that was coming in. They didn't realize it was God giving his children something to take care of themselves, because if there was no hip hop, you know, Snoop wouldn't have been able to buy, you know, his mom in the house. Dr. Dre wouldn't have been able to buy his mom the house. None of us would have been able to actually execute without this art form to sell to our people and their people too, because hip hop sold to the white kids as well as the black kids. So
it sold to the white kids more. It sold to them way more.
Right, but it's the same thing. The white kids were eating ice cream with us as little kids. They did the windmill, they did the break dance. It was the same. So we didn't see nothing different. Than if Eminem was dope, he was dope. We didn't care because he was white.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
that's what I tell people when they.
Right. That's what hip hop was. That's what hip hop is. Yeah, and that's what hip hop was. And when you had artists like LL that we were rooting for him too. Like, oh shit, how far is he gonna go? So it's the same team. Like, you know, I never understood how we would tear each other down. I mean, don't get me wrong. In a battle, it's cool. You know, it happens, right? It happens. There's a winner, there's a loser, and everything. It's competition.
Right.
But I was always rooting for the higher ups to always elevate the game, culture, and the people, and have more class in it, because this was our art form. That was our chance to do what we want to do. We don't want to, okay, if the Rolling Stones are loving their fans, we're really on point with it, because this is an opportunity we got to really, really take it to the next level. So I was happy to be, you know, a part of the solution of it. Like, in other words, okay, let's pick it up. And come on, are you kidding me? So when Eminem rocked and the Everlast and all of these white rappers came in and they did well, hip hop did well.
Right.
And when they went home dressed like us, it lightened up the racial disparity in America. Right. I want to give a shout out to Kimbo Slice too. And I want to give a shout out to his mother, Rose, and his son. Kimbo Slice single-handedly did so much for racism. People don't realize this. By Kimbo not being a nigger, Kimbo did more for the black culture and racism than probably anybody, because he was big black and he was honest. And I'm talking about when Kimbo died, them wrestlers were crying for real. Because they knew Kimbo wasn't going to run up in their house and violate them.
He had real.
They knew Kimbo was going to be in the street. Bro. Listen, they respected Kimbo so much that I'm talking about, man, when you say Kimbo's name, they tear up right now. Them brothers, them white dudes will start crying for Kimbo. So Kimbo did a lot to dissolve racism in a lot of ways. Because imagine if Kimbo was a negative black male. Mm-hmm. Can you imagine the fear he would have put in them? Right. And ostracized, it would have been more of traumatizing the white culture to not like black America. Right. Kimbo's the complete opposite. We had to respect Kimbo. Even when he lost his fights, he lost like a man. So God bless Kimbo Slice. Wherever Kimbo rests, the heavens open the door for him. He was one of the greats. Like, you know, he's in the same class as the greats like Joe Louis and Muhammad Ali, in the aspect of he was a great human being. And that's what we have to be in hip hop. Redman and me forged a relationship to be great human beings. And then great artists that, you know, push this agenda, but we're great human beings. First and foremost, we are approachable. You know, we still understand our street ethics and our street code, but we are approachable and we can communicate on high levels to get this thing where it needs to go. And that's the key. Can you communicate on that level? Can you represent your parents without the negativity and get it off, get the money, and leave with everybody happy? Can you do it? It's not as easy as said. Dr. Dre's done it. You know, he wrote F the police. He said it to this day. We need the police. Right. So, you know, hip hop is a learning, you know, we're learning and evolving. That's facts. You know, and we're not racist. That's right. We gave Eminem the shot. He sold most records in the world. We gave him the shot. Here you go. So it's not a racist genre.
Well, okay, so So it's right because at first it was, but you know what I'm saying, as you know,
Well, that was the kickback on Black America having all of the problems with race. Then they would try to show out, but that wasn't us. We're gonna totally be different, you know.
facts.
We're gonna be different. We're not gonna take what they did to us and bring it back to. That's not who we are.
Facts.
And you know, our mothers didn't teach us that. And let me say this too. None of our mothers understood this music and thought it was gonna go where it went anywhere.
Period. None of our mothers, most of our fathers.
Their generation was different. Yeah, their generation was different. My father said that ain't music. And I'm like, what are you talking about? LL makes 60 20 money. My father would argue with me till I showed him. Man. Then when he seen it, he shut up and was like, okay. Man, he didn't believe it. And like I said, I'm sure with the EPMD crew too. I'm sure with them too. I don't think their parents thought it was going to be this long either. Man. They didn't think it was going to be what it is now. Because think about it. Had EPMD would have kept dropping artists, right? Mm-hmm. Wu-Tang would have had a problem getting in.
That's facts.
Because they stopped in the gap, Wu-Tang caught up and Redman and Method Man became group mates.
Oh, God.
See the gap?
Yep.
See the gap?
Yep.
If EPMD would have kept going, but they thought it was going to be sublime, like, oh, it's just going to, this is what they probably were listening to. One of them was probably listening to the older generation. And they stopped elevating because they were only gold. They stopped here and then they didn't tap off. They didn't keep. They stopped here, dissolved, and then I got to fill in the void with the Spartan Academy.
I remember having conversations with my cousin, like, you know what I'm saying, like when they first came out. Okay, so if Eric and Parrish broke up, who would have the longevity? And to see
they needed each other. It didn't happen. They needed each other.
Yeah, like everything come back full circle. Like it's not that they broke up. It was that they had to create their own individual energy in the world, and then they was still a group. Cause when you were checking for Parrish, you were checking for Eric. When you were checking for Eric, you were checking for Parrish. And everybody around though, like the whole Hit Squad family, ate off of that.
But I want to say this too. Even though it got fucked up, Redman. And he listens, man. I give him the run and he listens. He pays attention, and I can foresee things, man, because I'm the wise one out that crew. And he listened. Everybody else really didn't listen like Reggie. Reggie listened to me. That's why he's my brother. He not only paid attention, he'll tell you in every interview, man. He taught me a lot of stuff.
I've seen him say.
He doesn't say that about too many people. I'm just saying. Well, he listened. And I was right. I was right about what I said. I wasn't wrong. You know, I was 100% right. The older remember, today's price in Black America ain't the same price today.
That's facts.
So with somebody speaking and coming from the 60s telling you it doesn't mean the 90s. It's gonna change. You mean well, but you're not, it's not accurate. Because there's other counterparts they could have tied themselves to and elevated more. But you stopped the growth. So I understand it. I'm not mad at nobody. We kept it moving though. Right. We got the Spartan Academy coming out. We got the Millennials coming out. We kept working. Right. We didn't stop working. We kept, even though, you know, some time ticked, we had to get it right. It's done. It's almost done. Right. We're not sitting here waiting around for somebody to open the door for us. We good. We all right. It's okay. I ain't mad at nobody. Right. You know what I'm saying? You see my face, I sleep every night, and on my cousins, everybody's on point. It runs like a Navy SEAL team, like it's supposed to. Right. Shout out to Uncle Frank and Uncle Walter Lee. They let us live in their house on Napoli Street in Central Iceland. They let us bring that music up in there. We got people that really, Uncle Frank and Uncle Walter, let me and Redman do what we wanted to do. Right. Shout out to Vernie Watson. That was her father. Like, we had a great team. We got a great team. Sam Sneed, still out there. DJ Scratch, Green Lantern, they all came through me.
Oh God. Woo.
You know what I'm saying? And they still rocking with us. So we ain't in the need of nobody. We good. We know how this goes. We got platforms. Right. Check us out on roadwarriorrecords.net. We on it, man. Oh God. TheRealKSolo.com. We on it. We ain't playing. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Because we know how much this means to our people. Shout out to the heavyweight champion of the world, Darryl Madison. Buddy McGirt, you know what I'm saying? Ralph Mann, we kept it moving. We could have stopped too, but we knew there was, now we got to get up in this mountain. We knew we had to look over yonder and see what time it was. You know, and like I said, man, DJ Scratch, Rock the Bells Radio, Redman Rock the Bell Radio, we moving. We still eating it up, man. We still here, man. Shout out to Black Floyd and Boondini Brown. They coming out. Guns for Hire, Chicago. We ain't playing. Shout out to Benny Sinatra, Maintain. Yo, we ain't playing. We still got our air lights out there, man, and they got something to say too.
Well, sure, we definitely gonna have to get them in the building so they can, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm gonna send you all these records too, Ricky. I'm gonna send you these records.
Man,
so you'll be the first, you know what I'm saying? You can add these videos, you know what I'm saying? Whatever the program is, Rick, we're gonna keep it in touch. That's what we do.
I'm gonna put them out there, bro, because that's what I'm about, is support, bro. Like, I got DJs, you know what I'm saying, that rock with me super heavy on, you know, record pools and things of that nature, you know what I'm saying, email blasts, like, you know what I'm saying, I got interviews that you could, man, like, we gonna spread this love.
Yeah, we need that, man. Shout out. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do, man. That's what we're gonna do. We love it grassroots like that. We love to bring it through those ranks because that's when it's authentic and it's on point, and that's how we did this.
God.
You know, we didn't have no people calling us to make this. We did this ourselves.
Real talk. Like, I reached out to the OG. I'm like, man, like, it would be a supreme honor. You know what I'm saying? Like, you and the fact that, like you said, you approachable. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not that, you know, I had to go through a million changes. Or I had to go through some managers. No, I reached directly out to you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you know, and you showed me the love to give me this opportunity to have this time with you, bro. And man, I appreciate that because you dropping some amazing jewels on us. You giving us amazing information that I'm sure that people don't know. They didn't know that you live with Dr. Dre. They didn't know that.
That's my man.
You know what I'm saying?
And I also was around, and you know, it's funny, I not only was around Dr. Dre, I was around DR Period too. Like, there was a time in Brooklyn when I would walk to DR Period's house, and DR Period would feed me breakfast every day, and I'd be with DR Period just watching DR Period work. And he's another one that walks with God. Like, DR Period is a very close friend too. It's like, I got these great relationships that one day they'll do something, I guess, altogether, but it's just, and then it had nothing to do with music. It's just, I was there with them in the struggles. I was there with them and they was there with me in mine. And great relationships were forged, man. I also want to shout out Caleb Boss with DJ 45. I named him Caleb Boss. He was my DJ before he was EPMD's DJ and I got locked up. Shout out to Craig Mack. God bless Craig Mack and Alma Tony. They're no longer here with us. I want to just keep it real. Craig Mack wouldn't have made it at Death Row physically over there. It was too rough. When people say Craig Mack was on Death Row, it was on paper. It wasn't physical. I was over there physically. Craig Mack wouldn't have made it over there. No way. It wouldn't have happened.
Because it was super rugged.
He wouldn't have made it over there.
It was super rugged over there.
He wouldn't have made it. They would have heard him over there because they would have smelled, you know, he's not like that. You got to be that. You can't. It wouldn't have happened. Right. On paper, it sounds good, but physically, no. It wouldn't have happened, bro.
Not at all. It would have been real bad for Craig, man. Man,
Snoop know what Snoop, add on. He know what I'm talking about. Snoop Dogg know what I'm talking about. Dazza Corrupt know what I'm talking about. He wouldn't have made it over there physically. No way. You got to be at that level, man. You got to be high energy, high strung, because they're gonna smell. That's how I'm telling you. That's how people get in trouble when you're not that and you're in an environment and they're checking you. They're gonna circle back. Real recognize real.
Facts, big facts.
Everybody can do this all day till it go down. Everybody does this till it happens. Then you see what you're dealing with.
Facts, big facts.
You know what I'm saying? As you see me, man, look. Every day, man. This ain't no toy. This is the real deal. This is the real deal. Just going to the store. You gotta be right. You can't do this. You gotta be about it. Or you're gonna get handled.
That's facts.
I don't care who you are.
That's facts.
Light Skin Richard Roundtree, Wolfgang Word of Mouth Mania, K Solo.
Man, the real
deal.
You hear me?
The real deal.
Oh,
we ain't doing this.
Hey,
you know what you gonna do? I mean, everybody said they was gonna go there. Everybody went. A lot of people didn't come home.
That's facts. That's facts. Like,
you got to know how to move out there.
Like, okay, so I want you to tell them about like how it was touring back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
It was
candy
great time.
nowadays. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
With EPMD, we did some great tours with EPMD, man. We used to have so much fun with EPMD on the tours. It's just like I said, man. With EPMD, me, Redman used to tour. Redman was DJing. We was coming up in the ranks. We were the roadies in the beginning. We just had a great time. Met a lot of people. Tretch, Tupac, they were all roadies too. Tretch came through Latifah. Tupac came through Digital Underground. Me and Reggie came through EPMD. But I was on early. Me and Tretch was on. Then Tupac and Redman came. It was me and Tretch first. Then it was Redman and Tupac. And then all of us would all be on the road, and Busta Rhymes too.
Oh God!
Like that was my generation. Shout out to Busta too. I'm very proud of him. I love his new album.
Oh my
yeah,
God.
I love to elevate when I see somebody elevate and take the pieces and grow mature with it. You know, I like that. We had to bury Biz Mark. We always there to bury our brother Biz. Man. Biz Mark. I started rhyming with Biz when I was 8 years old. Biz was 9. And I told him about the red algae, but he didn't believe me. Rodney Salos took it. Rodney Salos no longer has diabetes. I just don't know why Biz didn't trust what I'm telling you. There's a red algae that will cure diabetes too. If you eat this product and use it regularly, it will put all your sugar levels where it needs to go, and it'll wipe out cancer too if you catch it early. It has done it before. So reach out to me on social media if you need anything like that, and I'll point you in the right direction. It's a product for human beings. Yeah. And I got a dog product coming out. Me and Redman, we're gonna make it for all the animals too. We got some things in the work. Me and Reggie. Like I said, shout out to Madison and Noble Renewable Energy. We got some great things happening. Shout out to Team Impact. Do it all do. Newark, New Jersey. Shout out to Scotty Esdale, the president of the NAACP, who got Activist of the Year award. Shout out my brother. And Team on the Move. You know, all my people on Team on the Move. Let's do it, man. We're gonna be keeping it rocking. And like I said, yo, we're gonna get in touch with you. As soon as we mix this album, Rick, you're getting one of the first copies. So you know what it is. Signed, sealed, delivered from yours truly.
Yes.
And like I said, man, we're gonna give you the merchandise. And yo, just lock us in so we can start using this bridge to feed more people the information.
Oh, look. I got so much that I'm gonna bring to the table for this situation, bro. Like you said so much. You said so much in just a short time that made me like just go crazy in my mind. Like I'm thinking like, man, I got some organizations I want to introduce you to. I got a environmental, listen to me, I got an environmental scientist and engineer that I want to introduce you to. Like I got a lot of, you just, man, we gonna really build.
Because that's what we're doing too. Me and Reggie are in the environmental, we're in the renewable energy where we can take the algae and make crude oil. We can make the environment safer. We can make the astathaline. It's a red algae.
So
we can put a molecule to it and get it.
Yeah, man, we're on point. I'm gonna put you in tune with this dude. This dude is unfucking believable. He showed me some shit that's gonna change how Chicago does renewable energy. You know what I'm saying? And I was scared to work with him because I don't have that type of connection. You know what I'm saying? But I will gladly hand him over to you. You know what I'm saying? Gladly, because he a genius and he definitely got the plan blueprinted like a motherfucker. And I wanna definitely give you the opportunity.
Oh, definitely tomorrow I'm gonna circle back with you. That's what's up, because I want to meet him, man. I'm gonna introduce him to our platform, and maybe we could do something together, man. Me and Reggie are on it, man.
Oh God, hey, I'm gonna put it together, bro. Because when it's all said and done, I'm honored to have this opportunity, and then to hear that you
that's crazy,
going in that direction. You know what I'm saying? And the type of things that you doing, like, bro, you one of my heroes of this thing, bro. Like I can't even tell you how many times I done set up and listen to your albums on repeat, just zoning out. You know what I'm saying? Like this before I even
that's crazy,
what a blunt was. You know what I'm saying? Like this before I even knew what a blunt was. You know what I'm saying? So like this music was my drug. So goddamn it, like when I tell you that I'm super excited about what you're talking about. I'm super excited about the vision that you're living. I'm super excited to know all of these different things because I never knew that you. I never even knew that you was on Deathrow East until I started digging and you know what I'm saying, getting ready to do this interview. I'm like, man, he was on Deathrow East. Like I didn't even know that Deathrow East got to exist. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I just thought it was just a concept that Pac was talking about and they was putting it together, but it was getting ready to happen. And there you was right there at the forefront in it. And man, bro, like the level of conversation that you just gave me about what you did with Dre and how you was able to be in the background of so many different great people. And then to cap it all off, you are into the environment and into our people and into uplifting and curing. And man, like you saying all the right stuff to me because that's the type of environment that I want to create. That's the type of environment that I want to be around and have people, you know,
Yeah.
interact with.
Yeah, because that's where
So
we come from. We wanna, as I say, our culture one day will govern itself and will correct itself without anybody's interference. That's what we're headed to.
we'll talk.
And that's why I said when you got guys like Dre that went up there before us and they laid the ground and you just got a chance to watch, you know what to do in your house now.
That's right.
That's why Snoop knows how to make a record. I went to the same school Snoop went to for making records. I watched them.
Oh,
But I can't see, here's the thing about our culture. The guys you left won't respect and say, hey, what did you learn? They won't do that. It's crazy, right?
oh God.
Me and
Hey,
Redman laugh about it all the time. You like, they won't say, hey, let's see what you, they won't do it. They won't.
because it
Because they're
shows.
already,
Because it shows, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't have to, you don't have to, you know, I don't have to say that to you. You know what I'm saying? It's more so like, guess what? Your action shows that. What you do with what you learn shows that, and the growth and the movement that you put forth that shows that. So when it's all said and done,
It's
crazy, man. What'd you say, Rick?
no, but I'm saying I see you had something going on. I didn't want to cut you off. We got this, bro. We do whatever we want. But you know what I'm saying? It's that energy that you put into it. Oh shit.
See this red algae? This is astathathin. This is the stuff that we make and harvest. So when you look at the green slime that's in a lake, that's called green slime. We turn it into antibiotic, not an antibiotic. It's it's the strongest antibiotic in the world. It is 600 times stronger than vitamin C and 560 times stronger than vitamin E.
Woo.
We attach a molecule to this, so when cancer sees it, it grabs into it and brings the red algae in with it. And I'm telling you, it's a phenomenal, it's changing everything. So not only can I take this and make biofuel with this, I can make crude oil with it too. I can make any kind of animal feed. So that's why I created an animal product company called Mother Goose Pet Products and Foods. And I have 4 brands under it. I have Delicious Doggy, Bully Junkies, and Delicious Kitty under it. And it's, you know, it's a phenomenal scenario. And like I said, I'm hiring people. I'm empowering my community through this renewable energy, because it's biomass, goes for a lot of money per gram, and we're educating people on the photosynthesis and how to create it. We are algae. Algae is going to be the food of the future. We don't have enough land to feed the people on the planet, so we're converting these things to algae. Algae make plastics, all kind of brushes and dog treats. Algae, clothes, hemp oil is a form of algae. I don't think people remember, but hemp was one of the biggest textiles in America, and then the DuPont people lied on hemp and said it was the marijuana plant. They're close cousins, but they're not the same plant. And they banned hemp along with marijuana, and hemp is the biggest textile in America. Just because DuPont wanted to use, their competition was using hemp to take them out of business. So when they did that, they knocked their competitors off with that untrue. But hemp oil, if you use hemp, you have arthritis, it will take the pain out of you won't have arthritis. I just put the hemp with my red algae, and when it gets in there, it just does miracles. And I've been very successful. My uncle's business is making 4.5 million a year now. So me and Reggie saw that, and then we're gonna land we're gonna open our own scenario because we have our own formulas that we're gonna patent and copyright and let our uncle do him, but it's enough for us to do what we gotta do too. And we're going in a different direction than him anyway. You know, we're doing totally different with our stuff than he's doing with his, but same thing. We're helping fix the scenario. He's Scottish like my grandfather, great-grandfather who married my great-grandmother.
Bless. Okay, so like in going into that type of business, like taking it from, you know, having a business, just, you know, the music business and the entertainment business, going into having billionaires and corporations of that nature, like how does that transition? You know what I'm saying? Because it's definitely a different type of world.
It's good because I always tell Redman, I'm like, we can't rap forever. You know, we're doing it now, but we got to turn the buck over to Young Vaughn and them. Like we can rap now, but we can't rap forever. And we got to figure out, you know, how we can sustain ourselves and our lifestyle healthily with the health, because the key is health, you know. So we're not growing a lot of crops in the dirt anymore. We're growing them in water. We're doing aquaponics, fish poop and fish, the ammonia nitride, just turning that into the food for the plants. If we have cattle, you know, the gases and stuff, we'll use the poop for fertilizer. But that's just to make the ground soil, not just to grow stuff in it. If you grow tobacco in the ground, it destroys the ground. You know, it's not a good plant to grow. You see what it did to Haiti. We're just educating ourselves and our people on the environment and what we can do within our means. And this is real fulfilling because you can still be cool and still, you know, and know what you're doing with this algae. It's also a fertilizer. It also could be a fertilizer. It all could be a fish food. Okay, so in a nutshell, I'll explain it to you because this will sum it up so you can understand and the viewers will get it too. Okay. If a fish eats algae to gain the omega fatty acids and the omega 3s, why do we have to kill the fish? Why can't we just eat the algae?
Facts.
That's the process.
Facts.
It's clean, and that's what I mean about clean energy. Like we bypass the fish because it's gonna eat the algae, and we're like primitive thinking, oh, let's eat the fish to get the algae. Why can't we just leave the fish alone and just get the algae?
That's facts. That's facts.
It's a healthier way to do it. It's
the reason is because the fishermen will go out of business if you don't eat the fish to get the algae. But guess what?
Yeah, I'm just saying. Yeah, I'm just giving them some insight on the fact that okay, you can eat a fish.
Yeah.
But the algae.
Why would you do that when you can get directly to the source?
Right. If you're gonna eat a fish, I'm saying you can eat a fish. It's healthy to eat the fish, but if you're getting it for the omega, you don't have to do that. You can go just get the algae and eat the biomass.
Right.
And you know, and when you eat that biomass, and like I said, if it's 6,000 times stronger than vitamin C and you're entering in your body, a lot of people's parents get old, the joints hurt, they don't really know what to do. You know, Parkinson, Ali would have used this and it would have cut the Parkinsons in half. Nobody had the technology. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. You have to understand your history. If you can understand history, you can pinpoint where you wind up in another 100 years. Let me give you a story too. Muhammad Ali was the greatest heavyweight next to Jack Johnson to me.
Sure.
Ali named himself Muhammad Ali, but Muslims had slaves. So the Arabs had black African slaves. Right? Muhammad Ali, Cassius Clay, was named Cassius Clay by Muhammad Ali's grandfather. Herman Clay named his son, Muhammad Ali's father, Cassius Marcellus Clay Sr., because he was naming him after an abolitionist who freed slaves in Kentucky. Cassius Clay comes along Jr., which is Muhammad Ali, didn't know the story about the abolitionists. See what I'm saying? This is what I'm saying. When you don't have the history in front of you, it's crazy because you named yourself, you became Muhammad Ali after a slave owner. The Arab was a slave owner. If you read the Quran, he tells you he had slaves. So that's what I'm saying. Without the history, if he knew the history, he wouldn't have made that mistake. He had the right name.
That's facts.
He had the name of the one that freed the slaves.
Mm.
And he was white. He didn't know.
That's deep.
Let me ask you young kids this, and let me ask you young kids this too. Young kids in the generation, young, I don't care what color you are, you should know this. Who's John Brown? If you don't know who John Brown is, it's ugly and you're black. And I'm gonna tell you another thing. If you don't know what happened December 25th, 1951, that's another ugly scenario for you. If you don't know what happened in 1940, if you didn't know what happened in 1921 in Ocala, Florida, that's another bad scenario. You know what I'm trying to say? You gotta know history. You know history, you can get somewhere. If you don't know history, it's very dangerous. You know, that cloud, that other cloud is coming up on you. You gotta know history. You gotta know what happened so you can defend something. If you don't know history, you can't defend anything.
Jules, oh,
yeah,
Jules.
big time. And so listen out for the album. It's called They'll Be Hell to Pay. It's coming. I say July 4th.
Oh God.
Looking out for Muddy Waters 2. Muddy Waters 2 is coming this summer too. And the Royal Crown is coming right behind me on Waste Management Records. Listen out for Road Warrior. That's www.roadwarriorrecords.net. We coming.
Oh God.
Thanks for having me, Rick.
Man, it is my pleasure, bro. It's been my honor. We got to do this again, bro, because you just gave us so much information in such a short time, and we're going to get into details. We're going to zero in on things.
Yeah, we're going to break down the records, too. As soon as I get out of the mix, we're going to play the record for record and talk to him.
We going crazy on everything that we got on the table, bro, because you got a lot that you're bringing to the table. You're a legend. You got a lot of great information and jewels that you bring in to the show. We're gonna do part 1, 2, 3, 5, 25, 30.
Yeah. Because
man, bro, I'm definitely here for you to spread the word.
I'll text you all my information so you got the emails and all of the stuff. I have it on there for you to be there tomorrow.
Bless. That's
shout out to DJ Scratch. Listen out for DJ Scratch. Scratch Vision, Rock the Bells Radio, Redman, Rock the Bells Radio, Green Lantern. Peace.
Everybody, thank you for your time. It's been an honor to have K Solo with us. The support report, we definitely in effect, and we appreciate the opportunity. Y'all have a great night, and peace, and signing out for me and K Solo. Y'all have a great rest of y'all night. Much love and respect, God.